The thunder shook the windows as I stood in our bedroom doorway, watching my husband throw my clothes into a suitcase. Rain hammered against the glass like it was trying to break through. I was 7 months pregnant, my belly huge under my nightgown, and I couldn't understand what was happening. "Terrence, please," I begged. "What are you doing?" He didn't even look at me. "What does it look like, Jasmine?" "I'm done." This marriage was a mistake from the start. My legs felt weak. We'd been married for 5 years. We'd planned this baby together. "You can't mean that." "I mean every word." He zipped the suitcase and turned to face me. His eyes were cold, like he was looking at a stranger. "You trapped me with this pregnancy. I never wanted to be a father." The words hit me like a punch. "That's not true. You said you were excited about the baby." I lied. He grabbed the suitcase and shoved it into my hands. "Crystal's been waiting for me to leave you. She's everything you're not. Successful, beautiful, not pregnant and needy. Crystal." His assistant at the law firm. The woman who called our house at odd hours. The woman he swore was just a colleague. "The baby," I whispered, my hand on my belly. "Terrence, your daughter. That's your problem, not mine." He opened the bedroom door. "Get out. I want you gone before Crystal gets here." The storm was getting worse. I could hear the weather alert on the TV downstairs warning people to stay inside. But Terrence didn't care. He pulled me down the hallway, my suitcase in one hand, his grip tight on my arm with the other. "Terrence, it's dangerous out there. Please, just let me wait until morning." "No." We reached the front door and he opened it. Wind and rain blasted into the house. "You've been living off me for years. Time to see what the real world is like." I stepped onto the porch, already soaking wet. The rain was ice cold. "I don't have anywhere to go. I don't have money. You control all our accounts. You should have thought about that before you got pregnant." He threw my purse at me. "There's $20 in there. That's more than generous." Before I could say anything else, he slammed the door. I heard the lock click. I stood there in the storm, 7 months pregnant, with nowhere to go. I walked for 30 minutes before I found a gas station. My clothes were soaked through and I was shaking from the cold. The baby was moving a lot, probably upset by everything happening. The clerk at the counter looked concerned when I walked in, dripping water everywhere. "Ma'am, are you okay? Do you need me to call someone?" "I need to use your phone," I said. My voice sounded strange, hollow. "Please." He handed me the phone behind the counter. I dialed the only number I could remember. My sister Aaliyah answered on the 3rd ring. "Aaliyah," I said, and then I started crying so hard I could barely speak. He threw me out. I'm pregnant and he threw me out in the storm. "Where are you?" Her voice was sharp, alert. "Tell me exactly where you are right now." I asked the clerk for the address and told her. "I'll be there in 20 minutes, Aaliyah said. "Don't move. Don't go anywhere." I sat on the floor by the door and waited. The baby kept kicking, strong movements that felt like she was trying to tell me something. I put both hands on my belly and whispered, "We're going to be okay. I promise." Aaliyah pulled up in her car exactly 20 minutes later. She ran inside, took one look at me, and her face went hard with anger. "I'm going to kill him. Can we just go?" "Yes. Please, I'm so cold." She helped me to her car and turned the heat up as high as it would go. As we drove to her apartment, I told her everything. How Terrence had been acting strange for months. How Crystal's name kept coming up. How tonight he just snapped and told me to leave. "He left you with $20. Aaliyah's hands were tight on the steering wheel. "That's it. All our money is in accounts he controls. I don't have access to anything. We're getting a lawyer tomorrow." She pulled into her apartment complex. "The best one we can find. He's not getting away with this." Inside her apartment, Aaliyah made me take a hot shower and gave me dry clothes. Then she sat me down at her kitchen table with hot tea. "Jazz, I need to tell you something. Something I found out last month." My stomach dropped. "What?" You remember Uncle Raymond? Mom's brother who moved to California. He nodded. Uncle Raymond had left when I was young to start a tech company. We'd lost touch over the years. He died 3 months ago, Aaliyah said quietly. And he left us money. A lot of money. I stared at my sister. What do you mean? Uncle Raymond's company was worth millions when he sold it. He never married, never had kids. He left everything to his family. Mom got some. We got some. She pulled out her phone and showed me a bank statement. You were supposed to get the notification, but it went to your old email address. The one you stopped using after you married Terrence. The number on the screen made me dizzy. $5 million. In an account with my name on it. $5 million. I whispered. Yes. And there's a lawyer handling the estate. He's been trying to reach you for weeks. She wrote down a name and number on a piece of paper. Malcolm Stone. Call him first thing tomorrow. I couldn't process it. This morning I'd been a housewife completely dependent on my husband. Now I was a wealthy woman with $5 million. And Terrence had no idea. Does anyone else know about this? Yes. Mom knows. No. The lawyer knows. That's it. Aaliyah smiled, but it wasn't a kind smile. Terrence has no clue what he just threw away. The next morning I called Malcolm Stone. He was professional and efficient. Yes, the money was real. Yes, it was all mine, inherited before my marriage. So Terrence had no legal claim to it. Yes, he could recommend an excellent divorce attorney. Mrs. Carter, Malcolm said, I'm sorry to hear about your situation, but I want you to know you have options. Financial security. You're not trapped. After we hung up, I sat on Aaliyah's couch feeling strange. Yesterday I was helpless. Today I had $5 million. Terrence had thrown me away like I was nothing, and he had no idea I was now wealthier than him. Aaliyah came out of her bedroom dressed for work. What did the lawyer say? It's all real. The money is mine. I looked down at my pregnant belly. I need to file for divorce. Today. Already ahead of you. She handed me a business card. Shanice Williams. Best divorce attorney in the city. I called her this morning and told her your situation. She can see you at 2 o'clock. I looked at the card. The law firm's name was printed in gold letters. This was happening. I was really doing this. One more thing, Aaliyah said. Don't tell Terrence about the money yet. Let him think you're broke and desperate. It'll make what comes next so much better. Shanice Williams was exactly what I needed. She was in her 40s, sharp-eyed, and she listened to my story without interrupting. When I finished, she leaned back in her chair. Your husband is an idiot, she said bluntly. He threw out a pregnant woman during a storm. Any judge will destroy him for that. And the fact that you have your own money that he doesn't know about. That's perfect leverage. What do you mean? Yes. We let him think you're desperate. We let him offer you scraps in the divorce settlement. And then, when he's feeling confident, we show him what you really have. We show him he threw away a wealthy woman for his secretary. She smiled. Trust me, Mrs. Carter. We're going to make him regret everything. Over the next week, I stayed at Aaliyah's apartment and let Shanice handle everything. She filed divorce papers. She sent them to Terrence at his law firm. She requested temporary support since I was pregnant and had no income or assets. Terrence's response came 3 days later. He was offering me $2,000 a month and no claim to the house. Nothing else. He thinks you'll take it, Shanice said when she called. He thinks you're desperate enough to accept crumbs. What do we do? Yes. We wait. We let him think he's winning. And then we show him everything. The baby came early. At 8 months, I went into labor at Aaliyah's apartment. The hospital was chaotic, nurses rushing around, doctors checking monitors. But through it all I kept thinking about Terrence. He didn't know his daughter was being born. He didn't care. 12 hours later I held my daughter for the first time. She was tiny and perfect, with a full head of dark hair and eyes that seemed to look right through me. I named her Joy because that's what I needed to remember. That even in the worst situation there was still joy. Aaliyah cried when she held her. She's beautiful, Jazz. She looks just like you. I took a photo of Joy and almost sent it to Terrence. Almost. But then I stopped. He didn't deserve to see her. Not yet. 3 days later, we went home to Aaliyah's apartment. Shanice came to visit with papers for me to sign. "How are you feeling?" she asked, looking at Joy sleeping in her bassinet. Tired, but also angry, I admitted. He doesn't even know she exists. Good, Shanice said. Let's keep it that way for now. Have news. Terrence filed a motion to reduce the temporary support. He claims you're capable of working and shouldn't be dependent on him. I laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. He wants to pay me less. He wants to pay you nothing. His lawyer argues that since you have no children together yet, they don't know Joy is born, you should be self-sufficient. She pulled out more papers. It's time, Jasmine. It's time to show him what he threw away. The hearing was scheduled for 2 weeks later. Shanice prepared me carefully. When we walk into that courtroom, Terrence is going to think he's winning. His lawyer has probably told him you'll break down, beg for more money, look desperate. So we're going to do the opposite. She took me shopping. Designer clothes that fit my post-pregnancy body. Professional hair and makeup. I looked successful, confident. Nothing like the desperate woman Terrence had thrown out. The morning of the hearing, I felt nervous but ready. Aaliyah stayed home with Joy. Shanice and I walked into the courthouse together. And there was Terrence, standing with his lawyer, wearing an expensive suit and looking smug. His face changed when he saw me. Confusion, then something else. Maybe regret. But it was too late for that. We went into the courtroom. The judge, a woman in her 60s named Judge Patterson, looked at both of us. This is a hearing regarding temporary spousal support. Mr. Carter has filed a motion to reduce payments. Let's hear from his attorney first. Terrence's lawyer stood up. Your Honor, my client believes his soon-to-be ex-wife is capable of supporting herself. She has a college degree. She's young and healthy. There's no reason she should be dependent on Mr. Carter's income. Is that so? Judge Patterson looked at me. Ms. Williams, would your client like to respond? Shanice stood up slowly. Your Honor, my client would like to present evidence that changes this entire case. Shanice laid out everything. The inheritance from Uncle Raymond. The $5 million in my account. Bank statements proving I had more money than Terrence had ever made in his entire career as a lawyer. Terrence's face went white. His lawyer looked shocked. The judge's eyebrows went up. Let me understand this correctly, Judge Patterson said. Mrs. Carter has $5 million, inherited before the marriage, that Mr. Carter knew nothing about? That's correct, Your Honor, Shanice said. My client never needed Mr. Carter's money. She was financially independent the entire time. Mr. Carter, however, threw her out while she was 7 months pregnant during a dangerous storm, leaving her with only $20. We have witnesses. We have medical records showing the stress caused by early labor. And we have proof that Mr. Carter is now living with another woman. The judge looked at Terrence. Is this true, Mr. Carter? You put your pregnant wife out during a storm. Terrence opened his mouth but nothing came out. I have a photograph, Shanice continued. She pulled out her phone and showed the judge the picture from the gas station security camera. Me soaking wet, clearly pregnant, looking terrified. The timestamp showed the date and the weather alert warning. Judge Patterson's expression turned cold. Mr. Carter, your motion to reduce support is denied. In fact, I'm increasing it. You will pay Mrs. Carter $5,000 per month until the divorce is final. You will also pay all of her legal fees. And I'm ordering a full investigation into your assets and any money you may have hidden during the marriage. We left the courtroom and Terrence followed us into the hallway. Jasmine, wait. I turned around. Shanice stayed close to me. You have $5 million. Terrence's voice cracked. This whole time? Yes, I said simply. And you never told me. You never asked. You assumed I had nothing. You treated me like I was worthless. Kept my voice steady. You threw me out because you thought I was trapped. You thought I needed you. I made a mistake, he said quickly. I was stressed. Crystal was it was a midlife crisis or something. We can work this out. No, we can't. I looked at him and felt nothing. No love, no hate. Just nothing. You showed me who you really are. Someone who throws away his pregnant wife like garbage. That's not someone I can forgive. But the baby is fine. Her name is Joy. She was born 2 weeks ago. She's perfect. I watched his face change. You missed her birth. You missed everything. Because you chose Crystal over your own daughter. I have a daughter. He looked stunned. You had a daughter. Now you have nothing. Turned to Shanice. We're done here. As we walked away, I heard Terrence call after me. Jasmine, please. We can fix this. But I didn't look back. Over the next month, everything changed. I used part of my inheritance to buy a house. Nothing huge. Just a comfortable 3-bedroom in a good neighborhood with a yard. I hired a nanny to help with Joy while I figured out what to do next. Terrence kept trying to contact me. Texts, emails, calls. All of them begging for another chance. I blocked him on everything. Crystal left him. Apparently, once she learned he had to pay me $5,000 a month and that I was actually wealthy, she decided he wasn't such a good catch. He was back to living alone in our old house. Shanice called me one afternoon with news. Terrence wants to negotiate the divorce settlement. His lawyer says he's willing to give you the house and split everything 50-50. What do I owe him legally? Yes. Nothing. The inheritance was before the marriage. The house is in both names, so you're entitled to half anyway. He's trying to seem generous. Tell him no. I don't want his house. I don't want anything from him except the divorce to be final. Pause. And I want full custody of Joy. He's asking for visitation rights. After he called her your problem. After he threw me out while I was pregnant. I felt my anger rising. No. He gave up his rights when he told me to leave. He missed her birth. He doesn't get to be a father now. I'll push for full custody, Shanice promised. The custody battle was harder than I expected. Terrence hired an expensive lawyer and argued that he'd been under stress, that he deserved a chance to know his daughter. He cried in court. He talked about how much he regretted his mistakes. But Shanice was better. She showed the judge the security camera footage. She presented testimony from the gas station clerk who'd seen me that night. She showed medical records proving Joy was born early because of stress. She played recordings of Terrence's voicemails, the ones where he called me desperate and said the baby wasn't his problem. Judge Patterson listened to everything. Then she made her ruling. Mr. Carter, you abandoned your pregnant wife during a dangerous storm. You missed your daughter's birth. You showed no interest in her until you learned your wife was wealthy. I'm granting Mrs. Carter full legal and physical custody. You will have supervised visitation only, at her discretion. You will pay child support in the amount of $3,000 per month. And if you violate any of these terms, you will lose even supervised visitation. Terrence looked destroyed. But I felt only relief. After the hearing, he tried to talk to me again. Can I at least see her? Just once. I looked at him. You threw us away, Terrence. You made your choice. Now you have to live with it. 6 months after Joy was born, I started a business. I'd always loved interior design, but Terrence had told me it was a silly hobby. Now, with my inheritance as seed money, I started my own firm. Sterling Interiors. I hired 2 designers, rented office space, and began taking clients. The business grew faster than I expected. Within a year, we had a waiting list of clients. Within 2 years, we'd opened a second location. I was good at what I did. I just needed someone to believe in me. Turned out that someone was myself. Joy was 2 years old, happy and healthy. She didn't know Terrence. He'd come to 3 supervised visits and then stopped showing up. He was too ashamed, his lawyer told Shanice. Too guilty. I didn't care. Joy had me. She had Aaliyah, who she called Auntie. She had everything she needed. One day I got a message through LinkedIn. It was from Crystal. Can we talk? I need to tell you something. I almost ignored it. But curiosity won. I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop downtown. Crystal looked different than I remembered. Thinner. Tired. She sat across from me and ordered coffee with shaking hands. Thank you for meeting me, she said. I wasn't sure you would. I almost didn't, I admitted. What do you want? To apologize. And to tell you the truth about Terrence. She took a deep breath. He planned the whole thing. Throwing you out. He thought you had nothing. He thought you'd be so desperate you'd accept any settlement just to survive. He was going to divorce you, pay you almost nothing, and keep everything. My hands tightened around my coffee cup. He planned it. For months. He talked about it all the time at work. How he was trapped in the marriage. How you'd gotten pregnant on purpose. How he was going to get rid of you and start fresh with me. She looked ashamed. I went along with it. Thought he loved me. But the second he had to pay you money, the second he realized you were rich, he started blaming me for everything. He said I'd ruined his life. So you left him. He left me, actually. Once Crystal learned about your money, he tried to get back with you. When that didn't work, he threw me out too. Told me I was nothing. Just like he told you. She wiped her eyes. I'm sorry, Jasmine. I helped him hurt you. I thought I was special. I thought I was different. But I was just another person he used. I sat there processing what Crystal had told me. Part of me wanted to hate her. She'd helped destroy my marriage. But looking at her now, I mostly felt sorry for her. She'd been used just like I had. What are you going to do now? Yes. I don't know. He got me fired from the law firm. Said I was the one who initiated everything, that I seduced him. My reputation is destroyed. She laughed bitterly. I lost everything for him. And he just moved on. I can help you, I said. The words surprised me, but I meant them. My company is hiring. You have experience in project management, right? She looked shocked. You'd hire me. After everything. You made a mistake. You're paying for it. But everyone deserves a second chance. I pulled out my business card. Call my office. Ask for my assistant, Deshawn. Tell him I sent you. Crystal took the card like it was made of gold. Why are you being nice to me? Because Terrence wins if we hate each other. He wanted us to fight. I'd rather we both move on and build something better. After Crystal left, I sat in the coffee shop thinking. Terrence had planned everything. He'd thrown me out deliberately, thinking I'd be helpless. He'd wanted to destroy me. But he'd failed. And now I was going to make sure he knew it. The local business magazine did a feature on me and Sterling Interiors. They photographed me in my office, professional and confident. They interviewed me about starting a business as a single mother. They asked about my success. I told them everything. How my husband had thrown me out while I was pregnant. How I discovered my inheritance and used it to build something meaningful. How I'd turned pain into purpose. The article was titled Rising from the Storm. How Jasmine Sterling Built an Empire. It went viral. Thousands of shares on social media. People commenting about how inspiring my story was. Other women reached out to tell me their own stories of survival. And Terrence saw it. I knew because he started calling again. Dozens of calls I didn't answer. Emails I deleted without reading. He showed up at my office once, but security turned him away. Finally, he sent a letter. I almost threw it away, but something made me open it. Jasmine, I was wrong about everything. You were never the problem. I was insecure and afraid. You were better than me, stronger than me, and I couldn't handle it. So I tried to destroy you. Sorry. I know it's too late. I know you'll never forgive me. But I need you to know that throwing you out was the biggest mistake of my life. You won. You built something amazing. And I'm left with nothing but regrets. Terrence. I read the letter twice. Then I put it in a drawer and went back to work. Joy turned 3. We had a party at the house with all her friends from preschool. Aaliyah came and my mom and all my employees from Sterling Interiors. It was loud and chaotic and perfect. As I watched Joy blow out her candles, I thought about how different our lives could have been. If I'd never found out about the inheritance. If I'd been trapped with Terrence. If I'd believed him when he said I was worthless. But none of that happened. Gotten free. I'd built a life. I'd proven that I was more than what he tried to make me believe. Make a wish, Mommy. Joy called out. I didn't need to wish for anything. I already had everything I wanted. That night, after everyone left and Joy was asleep, I got a call from Shanice. I have news. Terrence lost his job at the law firm. What? Why? Ethics violations. Apparently, he was caught hiding assets during divorce cases. Using the same tactics he tried to use on you. He's being investigated by the state bar. He could lose his license to practice law. I should have felt satisfied, vindicated, but mostly I just felt tired. What happens now? That's up to him. But Jasmine, I wanted you to know. He's paying for what he did. Not just to you but to other people. Justice is happening. After we hung up, I went to Joy's room and watched her sleep. She was so peaceful, so innocent. She'd never know the pain of that night in the storm. She'd never know what her father tried to do to us. She'd only know love, security, strength, and that was exactly how it should be. 5 years after that storm, I stood at a podium giving a speech. The Women in Business Association had asked me to talk about entrepreneurship and overcoming adversity. Sterling Interiors was now a multi-million-dollar company with offices in 3 cities. I talked about the night Terrence threw me out. I talked about finding my strength. I talked about building something from pain. The people who try to break us, I said, they do us a favor. They show us what we're capable of. They force us to find our power. My ex-husband thought he was teaching me a lesson. He thought he was showing me that I was nothing without him. But the only lesson I learned was that I was always enough. I just needed to believe it. The audience gave me a standing ovation. Afterward, dozens of women came to talk to me. Tell me their stories. Thank me for being honest. As I drove home that night, I thought about Terrence. I'd heard he was working at a small firm now. His reputation destroyed. He'd tried to rebuild, but the damage was permanent. He'd lost everything chasing something that was never real. Pulled into my driveway. Joy was waiting at the window, pressed against the glass, excited to see me. She was 8 now, smart and confident and kind. Everything good that came from that terrible night. Good one. Not because I destroyed Terrence, but because I built something beautiful. Not because I got revenge, but because I got free. 10 years later, Joy was 13. We were at her school's award ceremony. She'd won first place in the business competition, creating a plan for a company that helped single mothers start their own businesses. Where did you get this idea? The teacher asked her during the presentation. Joy looked at me and smiled. From my mom. She taught me that you can turn bad situations into something good. That you can take pain and make it purposeful. After the ceremony, we went out for ice cream. Just the 2 of us, like we did every Friday. As we sat in our favorite booth, Joy asked me something she'd never asked before. Mom, can I ask about my father? I'd known this moment would come eventually. Of course, baby. What do you want to know? Why isn't he around? Other kids have dads. I chose my words carefully. Your father made some choices when you were a baby. Bad choices that hurt people. He had a chance to be in our lives, but he chose not to take it. That was his loss, not ours. Do you hate him? Thought about it. Did I? After everything, after all these years? No, I said honestly. I don't hate him. Actually feel sorry for him. He missed knowing the most amazing person in the world. I touched her cheek. He missed watching you grow up. That's something he can never get back. Do you think he's sorry? I think he is. But sorry doesn't fix everything. Sometimes the damage is too big to repair. So we move forward. We build new things. We find happiness in what we have, not what we have lost. Joy nodded, processing this. Then she smiled. I'm glad it's just us. We're pretty awesome together. The best team ever, I agreed. That night, after Joy went to bed, I found Terrence's old letter in my drawer. I read it one last time, then tore it up and threw it away. I didn't need it anymore. I didn't need the reminder of what he'd done or what I'd overcome. I knew who I was. A woman who'd been thrown out in a storm and built an empire. A mother who'd raised an incredible daughter alone. A success story that had nothing to do with him. Terrence had tried to break me. Instead, he'd freed me. And I'd spent 10 years proving that his biggest mistake was thinking I needed him at all. I went to bed that night feeling peaceful. The storm was over. The sun had been shining for years. And I'd never looked back.